Gardening Adventures again. Today I would like to talk about patio gardens, or if you have a land but you don't want to dig into the ground or anything like that, you want to be able to have movable containers. Sometimes people don't have enough space to garden, but they may have like a little patio with some sun, or a little deck. Uh, and today I'm going to show about planting bell peppers and potatoes in gardening containers. And these can be any kind of gardening containers. I have a 5-gallon bucket that I got at the store. You just want to make sure that it's food grade and it doesn't have anything that will harm the vegetables. Sometimes you can go to the bakeries and get free buckets that are food grade, if you can't spend a lot of money. I've also got 5-gallon fabric containers and also 10-pound fabric containers. What I like about the 10-pound fabric containers is growing my potatoes. And for the 5 pounds, I'll grow something like a bell pepper, which will grow great in the bucket and also grow great in the 10 pounds. But I like to try different things. That way I can know what does better and what doesn't do better. So next year I can even grow even more veggies for myself and my family. So for the potatoes, I do like the 10-pound bags, which for these I've gotten on Amazon. And what you do is you just fill it up with about a third of soil. Usually I use like a potting mix, or if all you have is just regular soil, you can add some fertilizer to that. Just know that if you only do garden soil, it will require more water. It doesn't have much retaining to it, but you can also add different retaining materials, peat moss, coconut coir, that'll help retain the water even more. But yeah, so I will put enough soil in here for about 1/3 of it, and I will grab a potato. Now, if a potato has more than, I would say, 3 eyes, you can cut it in half and just sit it on like on your deck or on a counter, and let the wounds seal up, and then you'll be able to plant 2 potatoes. But like this one right here, it only has 1 eye. Most of these I got only 1 eyes. This one has a couple eyes over here. But the potatoes I like are the Yukon Gold and the red potatoes, just because I like the flavor, and it's just an easier potato to grow. It doesn't take too long. So I will take the potato with the main eye sticking up. I will put it down here, and then I will just add more soil, so 1/3 more over it. So you'll have the bag 2/3 full, 1/3 under the potato, and 1/3 over the potato. And like I said, you can use any kind of soil you like. I've grown in garden soil, I've grown in potting soil, I've grown soil I made myself. So yeah, so basically you want to fill it all the way up. I like to add fertilizer to all my veggies, just because, why not? It might help them grow a little faster. I want the leaves to grow, because you don't want too much fertilizer. Then all you'll get is leaves, and you won't get what you eat. So I'll grab a little bit of fertilizer here, and usually I'll use like an organic plant food. This one's 465. If you want something that just has fertilizer, you can use like a bone meal that's like 1200. I'm sorry, blood meal. But this one I like to have a little bit of each phosphorus and potassium, just an overall helpful for them. And so I'll fill this bag up to about 2/3, and then I will water it in a little bit just to get it moist, like that. And then you want to check it every few days. Just stick your finger in it, and if it's dry, you might want to add a little bit more water to it. But what I like about these bags is you can move them around. So if you have them somewhere and it doesn't get enough sun, just pick the bag right up, and you can just move them anywhere you like. They will get pretty heavy. I have one that I grew potatoes in, and they do grow pretty high. But once the leaves start showing up, you can add a little bit more dirt to cover the stalks. Because one thing you don't want to happen is have the potatoes come up from the soil, and because they'll end up turning green, and you won't want to eat those. They won't kill you, but they're they're not really that good for you. But yeah, so I would just, as the leaves grow up, you just keep adding more soil until you get to the top of it, and that way you might end up getting more potatoes that grow up the soil. Another thing you do is like buckets like this, the same thing. What I will do with the bucket though is I will either drill holes in the bottom or I'll drill holes in the side. Now at the bottom, the water will just come out and you'll know that the water made it all the way through. Some people will drill on the sides. You'll have a little bit of reservoir. You can build things like wicking. I've heard of people putting fabric up here through the soil so the water wicks straight up. It's up to you. What do you like to do? And for bell peppers, though, one thing I like about bell peppers is they don't require a lot. They want the heat, they want water, and they will take a longer time to grow. What I would like to do is make sure it's got plenty of fertilizer because I want it to grow big first before it starts flowering. So that way, the bigger the bush is, the more chances I might get more bell peppers. I do grow mostly green bell peppers. Most green bell peppers are just basically unripe peppers. Usually they'll turn yellow, red, purple, or even brown. There are some bell peppers that will just stay green throughout the whole time, but most of the bell peppers, when they're green, they're usually unripe. I prefer the taste, and usually when you buy them in stores, they're a lot cheaper than the yellows and the reds, which I love the flavors of yellows and reds. But if you're trying to save a couple bucks, people will just buy the green because it's a lot cheaper. So usually on the soil like this, on a 5-pound bag, I will just fill it most of the way up. There's a little bit of lip. And what I will do is I will water it in just a little bit. Sometimes I'll water in afterwards, sometimes I'll water in before. And I'll put a little fertilizer in there. Just if you're unsure about how much fertilizer, I would just recommend reading the bag. But usually I'll just put a handful in here and mix it into the soil. You want to make sure it's mixed into the soil so that way it helps break it down. Like that. So I'll just water it in a little bit more. Like that. And I'll grab my bell pepper and I'll just shake it just a little bit. I don't want to try to damage any roots or anything like that. I'll just shake it so it kind of shakes up the soil a little bit. Sometimes you might have bell peppers that have been in the cup for months and months, and it might get root bound. So I like to shake it up a little bit. You dig a little hole here, down here, and you just bury it. Now if any leaves are touching the soil, I like to just pinch them off. And that way they're not touching any of the soil and might get diseases or anything like that. So I set up 3 bags. What I would like to try to do is, one is potting mix, one is just regular soil, and one is sort of a half and half. Just that if I can get away with just potting soil and it grows really well, I might just keep to that and just keep the cost down. And then I'll just check on it every few days, make sure it's all wet and moist and everything like that. Run out of soil, just sure add a little bit more soil here. And you just put in, just have a little bit of lip. I like to have a little bit of lip. Shades the bottom of it, and the top will get plenty of sun. And because I can pretty much move it anywhere I want. And so that way I will just grab this, put this in here like this. And I'll put the other one, and I'll snip off. Yeah, there's little tendrils down here. I'll snip those off. Anything that might get close to the soil. There will be plenty of leaves later on where I won't have to worry about what I snipped off, because it'll just go really big, and there'll be plenty of room for veggies. And so now that I got these in here, I can put them anywhere I like. I like to put them in the backyard where there's no trees and there's plenty of direct sun, because these do like a lot of sun throughout the summer. It's a little bit warm today, it's about 80 degrees, but it will go up and down for the season. And for the potatoes, I like to be able to put them also in the sun, and also you know, just keep an eye on them for when they pop up out of the ground. And then I will just keep adding a little bit more soil, a little bit more soil. If you think they might have too much shade, you can just take this and you can just, you know, fold it down like that. And fold it around like that. And more sun will be able to get into it. And so, stay with me. I'm actually kind of curious of what will grow faster. Will it be the potting mix, which does have fertilizer and it does have other nutrition that keeps the soil moist, so I might not have to water as much, or the rare soil that doesn't have any kind of retaining thing, but it is, you know, it is soil, and I will give it enough fertilizer and nutrition throughout the season. Usually do it twice, one now and then one maybe a couple months later, or then half and half. Will just enough potting mix be able to help it out or not? But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and just continue on with my journey. And I look forward to showing off everything I grow with you guys. Thank you very much.